Is your team still in the March Madness after round one? Today is March 23rd, and you're listening to the Arbitrage Trade Weekend News. I'm your host, Darin Harper, bringing you 3 things you need to know for the weekend and 2 interviews. Less is more, and better to Friendzone than to Endzone. Also, check out our winner and loser this week in the market. The 10 years around 4.2, and WTI crude stayed steady around $80.90. Here's 3 things. State Farm says they're out. Starting this summer, State Farm is discontinuing California coverage for 72,000 homes and apartments. This was after they already announced they wouldn't issue new home policies there. The reasons given were high costs, catastrophes like floods, winds, and fire, and outdated regulations. Will this be a sign for other insurance companies? California, unlike a good neighbor, State Farm won't be there. Fed is admitting some problems. Fed has stood strong on its dot plots and observing data for decisions, but has been less forthcoming with its concern about higher inflation and that the PCE number goal of 2% has been pushed out to 2026. The Fed is selling about $60 billion in treasuries and $35 billion in mortgage bonds. The focus right now is on tapering quantitative tightening to try to prevent a cash crunch in the banking system. Don't forget there is a lot of loans that need to be paid back from the Bank Term Fund lending program that was created when the bank failure started. Throw in the commercial real estate crisis and the market and bank system may feel a lot like 2007 again. Here are the bigs for next week. Monday, U.S. new home sales. Tuesday, U.S. durable goods orders and consumer confidence. Wednesday is crude oil inventories. Thursday is the UK GDP, the U.S. GDP, initial jobless claims, and the Chicago PMI. I suspect that'll be the big day next week. Hey, it's Friday, and Good Friday it is. There's also a core PCE report coming out, and then for some reason the Fed's Powell will be speaking. And even though I normally don't report on Saturdays, there is a pretty important report, and it's called the China Manufacturing PMI. Trade while you're sleeping across time zones with Arbitrage Trade Assist. Sign up today at arbitragetrade.com. Arbitrage Trade is your trusted source for business, finance, and tech info.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth Rome. I've played many roles in television and film, but today I'm speaking as myself about a cause that's very dear to my heart. The Cancer Prevention and Treatment Fund provides free help to those who have cancer and those who wish to prevent it. They've also banned cancer-causing chemicals from our homes and neighborhoods. Your donation makes a difference because 98 cents of every dollar pays for programs and services, not fancy salaries or events. As a mom, I'm thankful that they've helped ban cancer-causing chemicals from our toddler toys and baby bottles. They continue to fight the same fight to keep these chemicals out of our playgrounds, pizza, and soda cans. Please donate today to the Cancer Prevention and Treatment Fund at StopCancerFund.com.
Hi, Caroline.
Hello, Darin.
Hey, it is this is going to go out on Saturday. So I'm sure a lot of people will be going out to get their groceries and shopping and all that good stuff.
Yes.
And maybe that has something to do with what you wrote about this week, which is less is more.
Maybe so, yes.
Okay. Tell us more. Not less.
I will try, not less. So have you ever gone to a restaurant? I know Cheesecake Factory is well known for their very large menu, and you kind of get overwhelmed. There are too many choices.
True.
Take me back to Chick-fil-A where I can get a sandwich or nuggets.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
So there is actually psychology behind that, and that you can have too many choices.
That doesn't sound right.
I know. Especially for our American culture, you would think, more is more.
Give me the variety.
Right? But I found this study to be interesting. Of course, I'm kind of a nerd anyway.
No.
Oh, I know. But in 2000, there were 2 psychologists, and they did a study in a grocery store. So they had a table set up they made up some new brand of jams and jellies that were coming out. And they put 24 different varieties out on the table, trying to get people to come look at their new product. Tons of people flocked to the table, but not very many people bought the new jam or jelly. So then later they did similar experiment, but instead of 24 different jars, they only had 6 jars.
Okay.
Fewer people went to the table, but a higher percentage of people bought. So in the end, actually more people bought the jams and jellies when they only had 6 to choose from instead of 24.
Wow. I wonder if that's fear of missing out too. Who knows?
Well, I mean, it very well could be as well. But, this has hit drink places like Coca-Cola.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know, when I read this number, I had to double check. I didn't believe it. They used to have almost 400 different offerings.
Yes, I'm a Disney fan. And so when you go to Disney World, there's the World of Coke or whatever it is. And there's some terrible choices in there.
Oh,
but then there's some good ones too. But I was amazed at how many different types of Coke there was even just there. So
wow. Yeah. In the Coca-Cola brand, it would include Tab and some juices and other some coconut water. So it's not just talking about, classic Coca-Cola, but their whole brand. And so in an effort to reduce cost and try to boost profits, they cut their offerings almost in half.
Right.
Still 200 still sounds like a lot.
Yeah. That's still half, though. And you said something about Dollar General and mayonnaise, didn't you?
Yes. So, and now I don't like mayonnaise.
I love it. Go ahead.
But Dollar General used to have up to 6 different types of mayonnaise, but they're planning on dropping to even fewer than 6. And then there's a supermarket chain in the New England area, and they used to offer 49 different types of cereal, and they've cut back to 24.
That's kind of scary, because usually the more choices, the more competition there is, which makes prices generally lower. So the less choices we have, I fear that the prices may go up.
Right, but still, if you think about 24 different cereals, that's still a lot of cereals.
I mean, people have. I know that my son does it a lot, but it's choice. I don't know, choice paralyzed, I guess.
Yeah,
there's just too many.
Analysis paralysis.
Thank you. That's the nerdy word. Thank you.
And I had to make sure I said it slowly enough.
That's right.
But it's even gotten into clothing places and automobile manufacturers, and so it's not just in the food industry.
Well, the auto they threw in the EVs now too, so you have all of those choices.
But they're limiting the number of options. You can either get these 2 things or not these 2 things. Whether it's an EV, you don't have all the different package options now.
So they're taking cup holders out? I hope not.
I hope not.
Okay.
I hope
just
not.
Make sure.
I got to have my Diet Coke. At least, Coca-Cola kept that one.
Well, I tell you, whenever I do get that a little bit, the paralysis, but I just defer to unit price and whatever's the cheapest when it gets to that point.
Yes. Sometimes you just need to make a choice and get out. And yeah.
Right.
But I thought this was interesting. A professor of psychology said choice is good for us, but its relationship to satisfaction appears to be more complicated than we had assumed.
Oh, relationship is complicated.
Yes, right?
Got it.
In case you didn't know. But, when you have all of these choices, it has increased time and effort to make a choice, and that can lead to anxiety, regret, excessively high expectations, self-blame if it didn't work out. Going back to Cheesecake Factory, got, however many items on the menu, and I pick something. If I don't like it, then I'm like, oh man, but I had these other 5 things that also sounded good.
Well, this is awesome. I'm glad you brought this up, and it just sounds like less is more, based on what you're saying, and maybe our lives would be simpler if we had less things to choose from.
Yes, at least for our own anxiety.
That's
right.
Who needs more anxiety right now in this world? Thanks again, and I will see you again next week, Caroline.
Sounds good. Thank you, Darin.
All right. Bye-bye.
There are a lot of words I would use to describe my daughter. Kind, strong, hilarious. When I think about how much she's experienced in her life, on a journey that we're now on together as a family,
I'll make you something to eat, okay?
we can't help but be inspired by her every day.
Hey, Mom, we're about to start the movie.
Oh, yeah, I'll be right there.
Okay.
So really, we're the lucky ones. Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org.
Hey, how you doing, Royce?
I'm doing well. How are you doing, Darin?
I don't know how you doing, my friend.
Sometimes it's great just to be friends, right?
I tell you, it's always great to be friends, but I think you wrote about maybe something else, which kind of reminds
sometimes,
yeah.
Hey, sometimes you get that inkling. It's like, maybe she likes me, or maybe he likes me. And sometimes you're wrong. You're just wrong.
Bum, bum, bum.
And you have to stay in your own court, and you have to stay on your own side Otherwise, you could damage a friendship and actually lose a pivotal part of your life.
Pivotal.
Because each friend basically makes up like a facet of your personality. So basically going from friend zone to romantic interest could technically you lose a friend and a potential partner.
True. Oh, so you can just lose them both. There is no other option. There is an option 3.
There's an option 3. Basically, just don't cross that line.
Boy, that sounds difficult to determine. But so what are some things?
And by the way, they don't tell you what a line is.
Yeah. Of course not. There's no Friend Zone for Dummies book or anything like that.
Oh, no. It's like, and everyone has different triggers. Everyone has different things and aspirations for their own lives. So it's like, okay, I can picture myself with this person or not. Or basically it's like, no, that person's like a brother or that person's like a sister. And yeah, it's sometimes really hard to prevent yourself from, I guess, what they call catching feelings or basically seeing something that's there that may not actually be there.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, you have 2 different personalities, 2 different boundaries, and you have to mesh those all together and figure out what even you think versus what they think. So that just sounds like a lot of confusion. That's a different show on a different station.
No, I'm just saying sometimes I'm not going to pick on our female counterparts, but sometimes you're not always talking to the same person.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's true. That's true. So then you have multiple layers of confusion to both. Yes. Wow. And then you have to. Yes.
I saw where you were trying to take that. That was not where I was going.
All right, I'm going to get out of this quickly with my weekly quote, which is...
What's your quote?
Which this doesn't help much, but it's the friend zone is like quicksand. The more you try to get out, the deeper you fall.
I like that.
So you either die or you get out. There is no in between. I don't know.
I say stay in the friend zone. You can have as many friends as you want, and no one complains.
Okay, we'll go with that. We'll roll with that. I don't think that's how I don't think that's how the rom-com movies work out at the end. But yeah, that's like
hey, if the feelings are reciprocated, then hey, go for it by all means. But if it's only one-sided, sometimes they warm up to the idea, and sometimes they say no way.
Yeah, but nothing should be forced. I definitely get that. So,
yeah.
All right, Royce, if you got anything else to talk about friend zones before I get off this recording with my friend?
I think the most important thing, if you're going to try to broach that with someone, make sure just you keep your communication open. As long as you keep open communication, you won't damage the friendship. And basically, they'll see perspective, and they may even admire you possibly in different lights, like, oh, he thinks I'm attractive, and basically boost their self-esteem in the process.
Right. There you go. And that's what friends should do, is boost each other up. Thank you, Royce. And I will talk to you next week. You have a good weekend.
Sounds like a plan. All right. Thank you, sir. You too. All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hi, I'm EJ Williams for American Humane. For thousands of years, dogs have been our best friends in our worst times. Today, we're also learning that our best friends, millions of whom are abandoned each year, are often the best medicine when people are facing obstacles. To help both people and animals, organizations like American Humane have been working to harness the healing power of the human-animal bond, finding animals in need of forever homes and training them as life-saving service and therapy dogs to help our veterans, the elderly, and children overcome the daily obstacles of life. In this way, the rescued can become the rescuers. To find out how you can help give animals and the people they help a new leash on life, please visit AmericanHumane.org.
This week's winner and loser in the stock markets. The loser is GigaCloud Technology, that's GCT. They're headquartered in California, and they provide end-to-end business-to-business e-commerce solutions for large parcel merchandise. This marketplace connects manufacturers primarily in Asia with resellers in the U.S., Asia, and Europe to execute cross-border transactions across furniture, home appliances, fitness equipment, and other large parcel categories. GCT opened Monday at $40.13, and by Friday it had fallen all the way down to $27.62. That is almost a 41% drop since the last Friday's high of $45.17. It was reported that insiders sold over $4 million of stock. And our winner is Fusion Pharmaceuticals. That's FUSN. They are headquartered in Canada, and they are a clinical stage oncology company, and they focus on developing radiopharmaceuticals as precision medicines in Canada and the U.S. FUSN opened Monday at $10.10, and then on Tuesday, AstraZeneca announced they were buying Fusion for $2 billion. This made the short sellers give up, and the stock soared to a high of $21.30 Friday. Visit arbitragetrade.com and learn about Pips, our AI bot, who lets you stop watching and start living. We are not financial advisors, and we provide a service. Thank you for joining us today for another edition of Arbitrage Weekend News. Log into arbitragetrade.com to read our wide variety of blogs and educate yourself on Trade Assist and Forex trading, or even how to make passive money with our Trade Assist Affiliate Marketer program. You can even get to know our cute little AI bot called Pips.
Arbitrage Trade Analytics LLC is a privately held research company. Arbitrage Trade Analytics LLC is solely responsible for the preparation and distribution of the contents of this podcast. The opinions offered in this podcast are for informational purposes only and are not intended to function as investment advice. Seek a duly licensed professional for investment advice. For more information about the informational research and services offered by Arbitrage Trade Analytics LLC, please visit arbitragetrade.com.